earlier this week, we covered the tragedy in the town of Chilite, the King Road Railroad crossing, where a town employee was killed on the tracks there. And we've seen since then that not everyone follows the rules of those crossings.
Yeah, true. This happened just yesterday. Our 13 a.m. crew was near the scene of the fatality from Monday when there was this close call. A driver went around the gates at the same crossing when a train was coming.
Yeah, we think what happened there, they were actually the gates came down after they went across. The gates came down behind them.
Okay.
But they stopped. And whether they were looking back to see what a TV news crew was doing or what, I don't know. But then our photographer and Patrice Walsh were screaming at the person. There was a train coming, and they had to either back up or go across, and they did end up going across. But yeah, you see the gate coming down behind them there. Yep. And you can hear them.
Oh, yeah, they started to go back.
Now, this is not an isolated incident. When I was there earlier this week,
yeah.
I saw several cars go around the gate.
After this, on the same day when the young man died.
Absolutely. Now, they may not have heard about it. Either way, it's a simple message here. Do not go around the gate. Stay off the tracks.
Yeah, the message actually is simple. See tracks, think train. And that message is part of a new national campaign that happened to start this week, and I talked with the people behind it, including a man who lost a child at a railroad crossing. Thank you both so much for joining us, and the timing of this, unfortunately, is perfect for our community. Earlier this week, we had a fatal train and car collision. So I think the topic that we're talking about this morning is very much on people's minds. Joyce Rose from Operation Lifesaver will talk about that organization and the mission and the new message being put out. But Dr. Lanny Wilson, parent of a crossing victim. A lot of people hurting in our community right now. Anything that you might be able to say to our community to sort of try to work through that pain?
My heart goes out to the family and to the community, and you've put it really well. It's not just the loss in that family, but the whole community is hurting. I think that everybody's grief is different. So, but grief is painful, and what we're about is trying to prevent those kinds of horrible tragedies from happening to the family and the community. So, in my other life, I'm an obstetrician gynecologist, and as a physician, I believe in preventive health care so that we don't have to worry about crisis interventions. So, as terrible as this tragedy is, I hope it motivates the community to help us, Operation Lifesaver, and those interested in safety, help partner with us to prevent these tragedies from ever happening again in that community.
Bravo to you for lending your voice and your story to this cause. Joyce, I think we've talked about Operation Lifesaver before, but again, the basic is just to remind folks of the things that probably a lot of us know already, you think?
Absolutely. I think a lot of our rail safety education message is common sense. In fact, the campaign that we're launching again with this new video public service announcement today is called See Tracks, Think Train. You can't get more common sense or basic than that. It's just to remind people that there are safety rules as you're approaching a crossing. There are warning signs, there are warning devices like lights and gates, and they're there for a reason. You know, you need to just slow down a little, follow the safety rules, and let the train go by to avoid the kind of tragedy that Rochester has been faced with this week.
One question I think a lot of people have been asking in general is you pull up to a crossing, the gates are down, but they stay down for a long time and you don't see a train. I was taking your quiz and I learned something new about what to do if you're maybe a driver in that situation. Is that there often at times is a sign with a number to call, is that right?
There absolutely is. Every railroad crossing in the country has what's called an emergency notification sign, and each one has its own separate crossing number that is unique to that crossing. So if you pull off the road safely, go up to that blue and white sign and call the 1-800 number, you'll get a real live person with the railroad. You can tell them the crossing number, and they can look into whether there is some kind of malfunction or something fouling the tracks further up. But that's something that's relatively new, and it's so good that you asked about it, so that we can let people know that that's there.
I've always wondered, again, a question that's been floating around our community lately. The goal of the campaign, just remind people to just, even in our busy lives, just stop and think?
Absolutely, to remember that a train is so huge, it's so massive, that a train hitting your car is equivalent to your car running over a soda can. There's just no contest between a train and a car. And so we want to remind people that they need to act safely when they approach crossings.
There's the public safety announcement, but you all also have a website too. And as this is on the mind of a lot of people in our community, what is that website? What can we learn by going there?
Operation Lifesaver's website is oli.org, and we do urge everyone to go to that website to find out more about rail safety. There's a state coordinator in every state, including New York, who will schedule safety presentations in your community, and you can also volunteer for Operation Lifesaver.
I'm so happy that Joyce is doing what she's doing. Operation Lifesaver is certainly a huge partner in safety, and they're looking for partners all over the country. And I'm optimistic enough to think that that maybe one day there will be no collisions, there will be no deaths at crossings, because most of these are preventable. And Operation Lifesaver is giving people the tools to learn how to make these preventable.
Again, the fact that you're lending your voice to this campaign, we thank you for doing so, and Joyce, for your work as well. Thank you. I learn something new every time we speak with you. Good luck with this campaign, and we appreciate the message today.
Thank you so much.
You're our partner in safety.
Just want to repeat it again, oli.org. On that, you can see the blue sign that, again, they say is posted at every crossing. And again, if you're sitting there waiting and wondering why are the arms down and nothing's happening, that has the phone number you can call and the number of the crossing there.
And in Patrice Walsh's coverage yesterday of Senator Schumer's call for safer track crossings, she said she talked to somebody about that, and they said, well, what if the gates are down, you don't see a train coming, and you don't go to that step of making a phone call? They said, just whatever you do, don't go around the gate. Turn around and go somewhere else, you know. Figure another way to get where you have to go. Because the trains, you might not see the train when you start to cross, and then before you know it, it's upon you.
And I think one thing that's interesting, too, is how fast some of these trains go. Some people think of the CSX trains going 35, 40 miles per hour, maybe even slower. These Amtrak trains, the speed limit, they're 79 miles per hour. That's fast. That's the throughway.
Yeah, and they can't stop in a hurry.
Right.